Okay, let's go. Welcome back to round two. This is Bovey Castle, the Open Series tournament. And after a 3 over par round one, which you guys would have saw a couple of days ago, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you enjoyed that, seeing the tournament footage, and I've got good news for the people that do enjoy the tournament footage. We're just about to take a videographer on full time. So that means we can film pretty much every single tournament this year. Plus, we can just travel the country, playing loads of quality matches against quality guests, good pros, tour pros, funny guests, etc. I feel like this channel is really going to go from strength to strength based on the fact that I'm not doing every single thing myself. So, really positive news. And for the people that have been here for a long time, I appreciate your support. And I feel like this channel's going to do really well this year. So, let's get into round two. So we shot 3 over par in round one, which was a bit of a struggle. This is very early on in the season, just getting back into tournament golf. This is like my first proper tournament of the year. And this was 129 yards into the first, downhill. And it is rather bouncy.
That's 123. 60-degree wedge. I was trying to land at like 100. Bit long, but it's like no shot there. I don't think I could keep it on the green if I landed it over the hazard.
Yeah, I thought I'd do the voiceover today just because someone asked me. It'd been good to know sort of like your thoughts. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you rather see, sort of just like the footage, or do you want to hear my dulcet tones commentating over it? The choice is yours. This shot here would have scared the shit out of me about 6 months ago. Sat down, not much grass, but my chipping has just got so much better, and that's one of the reasons that was a good solid putt. That's one of the reasons I'm pretty excited about this year, because my short game's actually all right now. So couple that with some good ball striking and holing a few putts, and I feel like we could be going in a decent direction. So off the second hole, pushed out to the right, and this was all I had. And we're going to get back to the action on the golf course for some live commentary.
That's completely blocked out, 190 yards away to a green, size of a postage stamp, and got to make up and down for par. The next hole is about 210 Island Green into wind. It's a tough first 3 holes around here with this wind.
Welcome back to Dawn FM, the most depressing golf commentary in the world. So I got 87 yards here, and up and down for par. I mean, it's a tricky start. Made bogey on the first. The wind direction means that these first 3 holes play quite tough, because there's downwind on the first, which you don't want, and then into wind off on the next 2 holes. I was trying to work out how far this actually broke. This is 1.5 foot off the left edge. Absolute swinger. Doesn't really do it justice on camera. And then we get into this hole, which is just... So this is into wind, and it was 200 flag. And for those of you that don't know, the third at Bovey Castle is pretty much an island green. So it's pretty much like a sawgrass. But I heard an interesting stat or fact from Ryan Pope about this hole. So apparently, that green is pretty much half the size of the green at Sawgrass in a certain area or something. It's almost like half the size of the green, but it's 200 yards. So it's brutal. I was over the moon to knock it on the green with 7-iron. It was at Interbreeze, so probably playing about 215 to get back to that flag. But I just felt for other players that didn't perhaps have the speed, who were hitting 5-irons in there. Now I'll go on to say about this in a minute when we go back down to the on-course commentary. But ended up walking off with bogey, so I'm 2 over par through 3 holes. Bovey Castle looking marvellous in the background. And I got onto the par 5. This is about 520 off this back box. Pulled it slightly further left. I usually just aim at the trees, and if I pull it, I'm good. If I push it, I'm fine. And I might need to lay up, but that's my strategy. So I had 220. And here's another representation of how bouncy it was. So this is a little 6-iron, just trying to play like a 180 shot, just feed it up the green. Gone.
2 over through 3 holes, trying to shoot 3-4 under. Sounds horrific. Honestly, I reckon that's going to be losing nothing to the field today, being 2 over through 3, just because of the way the wind is playing and the way. I mean, that par 3, we just watched the group behind us playing in. One of them's landed in middle of the green because it's so far, it's just shot through into the water. The other lads landed it front of that green. Bearing in mind it's 200 to the back pin, and he's just kept it on the green, landing it on the front. So I've played like a 7-iron, I've got a bit of power and I can get it up in the wind. But if you're hitting like 5-iron in there from 200, like, I don't think there's anywhere to land it apart from on the front of the green. So you've got like a 5-yard landing zone. So that hole in itself is going to be averaging like 4.5 probably. So yeah, lots of birdie chances. Just got to keep doing the thing. But I thought I played this really well, but it's going to be disgusting because there's no grass out the back here. Let's go find it.
So this was actually sat okay. So I got up there, I was expecting a bad lie. I had a really, really good lie. But the 2 shots you can play here are bump it up through the rough onto the green. The problem is the dark stuff was actually quite grabby. So I had to play this shot. And I thought I played this to perfection. I landed it just on the green, lobbed it up, and it is like, see you later. It's gone, 25 foot past the pin. Doesn't look it as far there. But that is honestly as good as I can play that golf shot. And I thought I held that, but it just held up. So, par on the 4th hole. Now we have a 409 yard par 4. Just playing my little stinger. This may or may not have caught the front of the tee box, and otherwise known as a top, but we'll look past that. We got about 110, so it's 56 degree. Wind is into out the right. And I want you to pay attention to this wind direction because it is off the right here, which means on the next, which is a par 3, is off the left, which means the next hole, it's into wind. Simple maths. But you're going to see why Bovey is quite a tricky little golf course. It's pretty short. In fact, it's very short for a tournament course. It's very tight. It's bouncy, but the wind swirls around quite a bit down here, which just makes it even harder. So this was 155, wind into out the left. Fine, 9-iron. I'm faced with this shot again. This makes me look really, really stupid. Now this, as soon as you get it on this green, it's really quick and breaks to the right, and that just grabbed it. Not a good effort. Getting found out quite hard. Knocked it in for another bogey. Bish, bash, bosh. And this is one of the tightest holes you'll ever see. This is, I think, 11 yards wide, the fairway in place. A bit further down with hazard both sides. And I had, so this has to be downwind. So I had 115. Played a little 56 degree. Played it like 110. And it just got up in the wind and went right. Well, John, he doesn't often get angry. I think that is 2 days' worth of frustration getting to him. Look, I'm not condoning club throwing. It's obviously not a good look. If there's any young kids watching this, it's tempted to take it out, but don't get into a habit of that. It's extremely rare that I throw clubs. That purely is just 2 days of tournament golf getting to you, and instead of letting it out in bits and pieces, I just bottled it up and let it out in one go. Not a good thing to do at all. So don't copy me. You will see this a lot of, like, you do see this a lot, but it's just not a good thing to get into. So yeah, maybe a story for another video talking about how to get back in a good place after doing that. But yeah, hit a decent drive up the next, was in a divot, hit an all right shot in. That's why you saw the funky finish, just because it was in a divot, so the club got stuck in the ground. Hit a nice little pitch in there and had a putt for birdie, which just left short. And then this is hole 9. So 160, I think it was, to get back to the back flag. Hit 9-iron, thinking it has to be slightly into, but it wasn't again. But fine. Put myself in this position here and walked off with par. But yeah, just getting back to that, when sometimes you do lose it a bit. But the main thing is, like, you saw Tiger Woods lose his shit many a time. The main thing is approaching the next shot and getting back into the mind frame that you need to be, so it doesn't affect you. You can let bursts out, try not to throw clubs, but always make sure you're ready to play the next shot. So par 5, I had 220. I was thinking, do I go around this rock left or right? Ended up trying to hit the high hook over the rock, which was the better choice because I didn't have to move it as much. And this is probably as good as I could do from here, just because it's playing out the rough and it's hard to get the ball to move when you're playing out the rough and you're getting a flyer. And had a little putt for birdie. Ouch. By the way, if you enjoyed that, there's a couple more of those coming on the back 9. So hold tight. This is nice. Oh yeah. That's my control shot. So a little stinger cut. It's a 450 yard par 4. And I think I've got like 110 in here. So it's a nice 340 yard power stinger. And obviously it's pretty bouncy out here. So yeah, having a little stroll down with my good friend Kev Harper. By the way, if no one knows, he won the Euro Pro Order of Merit in, I believe, maybe 2011. Don't quote me on that. Got his Challenge Tour card, so extremely good golfer, and I think he's trying to make a comeback to play a bit more golf, which is great. I think I said after this putt to Kev, I was like, it'd be nice to not have something that was moving like 2 foot. Just want a birdie putt that I can give a good go. This is 209 to that middle right flag. Hit a really solid 6-iron to this green, which is a small target again. The par 3s are here. The target's pretty small for the length of the holes. So anytime you walk off with par on this par 3, you are pretty happy. But obviously my score's not in a good place at this point. I mean, it's frustrating. I was just trying to, again, like yesterday, finish strong, which is what I did yesterday. So I was 5 over and finished, had like a 3 birdie flurry and got it back to 2 over and bogeyed the last. So we're trying to do similar things in this round. I remember this being 149, back flag, out the rough, fly lie. So hit 48, played like a 130 shot, bit of a flyer, and then it released up the green. Had a really good putt for birdie. Another one. Boom, boom, boom. Dun, 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 dun. And then the next hole. So this, believe it or not, is 280, but it was playing down breeze, and it's 215 to cover the trap. So I'm trying to hit it on this green. I was debating whether it's 3 or 4 iron. No, in fact, that's a lie. It was between 4 and 5 iron. I hit 5 iron, and this is perfect, by the way. 3 yards right, and that is up there pretty close, but it's caught the top bit of the tree that's sticking out. And then we had this shot, which looks pretty easy from here, but it's one of those, you can either land it a long way short or very low. I went for, essentially what I was trying to do is jam it in the bank, which is quite grippy, with a low spinny wedge. That was the only shot, or literally chip it with a 7-iron or putt it. And you may be thinking, there's definitely more options than that. But the thing is, because the surroundings of the green are quite lush and grabby, you can't play certain shots, and obviously flying it there, you can't land it and stop it. So it's just a bit of a challenge. Par 5 around the corner, 380, lovely 7-iron off the tee, bit funky with the lie. I think this is playing about 170, just hitting a little 8-iron up there. Ended up being not too bad of a golf shot. Pretty good speed. And there we go, knocks it in for par. Then we have a 330-yard par 4. This is actually where the swing started to hurt a bit. Been feeling fine all day. And then maybe it's just because it's like the second round of tournament golf. And if you're watching this, you knew like I've been injured for the last couple of months, which is why I haven't been playing tournaments. And this is the first tournament back. My back felt absolutely fine up until this point, but it's got a bit tight at the end. Now, me and Kev were having we put a £3 bet on who could get nearest the pin. This is actually quite funny. So I've landed mine short of the green with spin, and it has just effed off, and it is clinging on to the back edge. Bearing in mind that green's 50 foot long. Kev's thought, right, I'll play this a bit higher, land it short as well, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is why it is not easy. It's not just me. Anyway, we got birdie putt from about 25 foot, which we leave in the front door. And then we got a par 4 over the tree. Oh, this one hurt quite a bit. Just made it over the tree, rolled down, and I do not know how it ended up in this position, because the tee is literally directly behind this bunker, so it's obviously rolled around the side. I thought I played this chip to perfection. In fact, I think I go, no, you're joking.
No way.
Because I couldn't believe I left that short. And then you're going to see another putt, which is hit really well at perfect pace, and slotted it. Nah, I'm joking, it just missed. So yeah, a bit of a struggle. Now I'm not looking at this and being worried. Like, my ball striking's generally in quite a nice spot, to be fair. My short game's feeling a lot better. My back's feeling better. Tournament golf is not easy, especially on a golf course like this. And it's early days in the season. So I love the fact that I can actually practice now. Now I've got a videographer. I will talk about how I'm actually doing all this soon in a vlog, but essentially having a videographer is going to allow me to not be sat in front of a screen editing for 8 hours and actually practice, so that might help my golf. You'll have to see about that one. This was 200 yards. We were joking about whether we go for it in 2. It's a par 4, and I've ended up sat down in a divot just to sum up the day. That's as best as I could do. Rolled out 30 yards.
Oh dear, welcome back to tournament golf. It's a joyous place to be.
And this is for a round of, I think, 5 over, which we just missed. And I'm going to leave you with a quote from a great man. We'll go back down to the golf course on-course commentary, but thanks for watching.
Thanks, Matt. Well done.
Right, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed me struggle. Early on in the season, we'll be back with more tournament footage. Need to get the game going. And I'll leave you with a quote from a great philosopher. Oh, what a day.